A tool or a weapon? Digital communication in a cybersecurity framework. In examining the intersection of technology, privacy, and security, the question may be legitimately asked, is digital communication a tool or a weapon? The administration has denied the existence of space weapons, but this might hinge on semantics. A hammer, for instance, is a tool, yet, like in the mythical tale of Thor, it can also serve as a weapon. Elon Musk recently described on social media an effective marketing that many others have experienced around the world. He talked about a particular thought that he had, for which he later received advertising content on his personal feed. So, how does this happen that our thoughts can be used for marketing? To arrive at the answer, we first have to define what is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity involves the protection of digital signals transmitted via phones, computers, and communication networks. The core idea is that at its heart, cybersecurity is about securing transmitted digital information. With an all encompassing definition of the cyber realm, what if all of these digitally based systems were interconnected? Traditional computer networks with cellular networks, the backbone of the internet, and all connected satellites in orbit. And what if these systems were used in concert, where one leaves off, the other begins? For example, when an employee leaves their workstation, they are under cellular surveillance, or when they leave the office, they are under watch of CCTV cameras. So, why do digital signals matter? The advantages of digital signals include high readability at higher frequencies, long distance transmission with minimal losses, and indoor and adverse weather usability. Since not all parts of the spectrum are practical for communications, we will refer to the range relevant to cybersecurity as the usable frequencies. Usable frequency ranges from high frequency voice and video communications to infrared and modulated subsea extremely low frequency signals. Frequency modulation and global coverage. The concept is the modulation of signals, for example, low frequency and microwave. This ensures effective global communications using a range of frequencies for different applications. Frequencies involve subsea communications using extremely low frequency ranges and satellites combining ground signals with LTE and 5G footprints on the ground. With all the separate systems on Earth, what fills the gaps in visual, frequency, and spectrum levels? Line of sight of the entire globe combined with terrestrial systems to complete the surveillance picture. No signals are excluded from an application, making possible full-take subject surveillance on demand. With not only overlapping Earth-based and orbital systems, but also redundant satellite coverage from different levels of orbit, there is not only a complete satellite picture, but one that can be transmitted and monitored in real time. Going back to Elon Musk, the National Reconnaissance Office aims to quadruple satellites and expand signal image delivery by 10 times within a decade. SpaceX is expected to be a big part of this initiative with a $1.8 billion contract for Starshield spy satellites. Revisiting the Tesla chief's insights into targeted marketing, the question logically arises: with the frequency ranges involved and the global application, could the same technology used to target ads also be weaponized? What are the risks of full spectrum surveillance? Threats identified include individual privacy violations, compromising security of government and industry information systems, and biological effects of imposed signals. A key insight is that two-way communication means signals in turn affect the receiver, creating a feedback loop. With already existing data from past and continuous surveillance and Wi-Fi and cellular footprints on the ground, relatively small changes are detected to update the picture, reducing the need for bandwidth and signal strength. The picture creates the possibility of low-power systems from space being able to complete a high-resolution surveillance picture nearly instantaneously. So, what is the scope of orbital surveillance? Satellites provide a comprehensive signal footprint globally. Applications include tracking targets on the ground, providing continuous imagery, and detecting changes via Doppler radar effects. What if there were not enough criminals and terrorists to track that would justify such a system? What would we do with all that extra data and bandwidth? Could the same connected systems be used for employees of a corporation, for example? With the capabilities involved, the risk stems from national interests, whose existence sometimes comes at the expense of privacy rights. Images, voice prints, gait analysis, device names, and coordinates are not traditionally personally identifiable information. However, unauthorized use and disclosure of aggregate data is contrary to privacy legislation. Considering the invisible and pervasive threat, one might ask, what are the countermeasures? With active and passive threats, there are also corresponding defenses or countermeasures. Passive countermeasures include the use of shielding on the ground and signal reduction. Active countermeasures involve signal jamming and frequency interference. What is the role of laws and regulations? The judiciary's role is that courts can strike down invasive programs as unconstitutional. Legislative powers include passing laws to regulate surveillance technology and advocating for stronger international laws on surveillance ethics. There are loopholes in surveillance laws which give authorities a permission slip to exploit soft points. One of these resembles FISA, which is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, Section 218, which specifies that the government no longer needs to justify surveillance solely on foreign intelligence, but that it has to be significant in nature. Although this definition can include foreign intelligence, it can also include many other things. The implications are that the lines are blurred between the legality of domestic and international surveillance. A key takeaway is that awareness is the first step to addressing subversive communication threats. And until laws catch up with technology, Cybersecurity remains our strongest defense. What if someone were to abandon all transmitters and run to a place without cameras, without cell phones, cell towers, people and their devices? In that place, one might think that they are finally free and at peace. And then they would look up to the sky and see a small bright light and wonder, is that a star or a reflection? And then hear a tiny voice that says, it is the government.